We've known 8 planets our entire lives: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. It's a complete set, a tidy, stable family orbiting our sun. But what if we'd been wrong? What if right now, lurking in the unimaginable darkness far beyond Neptune, a massive, hidden world is slowly making its orbit? A world 20 times farther out than our most distant known planet. This isn't a story about Pluto. This is something far larger, a potential super-Earth, 5 to 10 times the mass of our own planet. We call it Planet 9. And the most chilling part, we can't see it, but we see its ghost. We see its gravitational footprint, like a set of tracks at a crime scene, written all over the edge of our solar system. This is the story of the greatest detective case in modern astronomy, a hunt for a suspect that, if found, will rewrite the map of our home. I'm Julian Hayes, and you're watching Your Channel Name. Today, we investigate the overwhelming evidence for a planet that shouldn't exist. To find the first clue, we have to travel to the fringes of our solar system, to a place called the Kuiper Belt. Think of it as the solar system's attic, or perhaps its junkyard. Beyond the orbit of Neptune lies a vast frozen wasteland containing billions, perhaps trillions of icy bodies left over from the formation of the planets. We call them trans-Neptunian objects, or TNOs. For decades, we assumed this region, while full, was random, a chaotic scattering of icy rocks. We were wrong. The year is 2003. Astronomer Mike Brown from Caltech discovers an object named Sedna. And Sedna is weird. It has a bizarre, impossibly long and elliptical orbit. It takes over 11,000 years to go around the sun. But that wasn't the weirdest part. Sedna never comes close enough to Neptune to be influenced by its gravity. At its closest, it's 76 astronomical units, AU. And AU is the distance from the Earth to the Sun. Neptune is at 30 AU. At its farthest, it swings out to nearly 1,000 AU. This was a profound puzzle. The solar system as we knew it had no right to contain an object like Sedna. Some gravitational force, something else must have pulled it into that strange path. But what? For a decade, Sedna was a lone anomaly, a curiosity. But in science, one anomaly is a mystery. A second is a pattern. In 2012, astronomers Scott Shepard and Chad Trujillo found another object, 2012 VP113, nicknamed Batygin. It shared the same orbital eccentricity as Sedna. It too seemed to exist in this no man's land untouched by Neptune. This is where our lead detective enters the story. Konstantin Batygin, a brilliant young theoretical astrophysicist at Caltech and a colleague of Mike Brown, the man famous for killing Pluto. Batygin was skeptical. He didn't believe in a hidden planet. He set out to prove that these strange orbits were just a coincidence, a trick of the data. He and Brown began tracking all the most distant TNOs they could find. They weren't just looking at Sedna and Batygin anymore. They found 4 more, a total of 6 extreme TNOs. And that's when Batygin had his quote, "oh crap" moment. These 6 objects weren't random at all. They were aligned. Imagine you walked into a room and saw 6 clocks hanging on the wall, and all 6 clocks had stopped at the exact same time, say 3:17. You wouldn't assume it was a coincidence. You would assume something, an earthquake, a power outage, caused them all to stop. What Batygin and Brown found was the astronomical equivalent. These 6 objects all had their orbits physically tilted in the same direction, about 30 degrees downward relative to the plane of the solar system. And even more impossibly, the pointy part of their orbits, their perihelion, all clustered together in the same quadrant of the sky. Batygin calculated the odds of this happening by pure chance. It was 1 in 14,000. This was no longer a coincidence. This was evidence. This was the smoking gun. Something massive was acting as a shepherd, corralling these objects, forcing them into this alignment. The crime scene had been discovered. Now they needed to find the culprit. In January 2016, Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown published their bombshell paper. They weren't trying to find a planet. In fact, they had spent years trying to disprove it. But the evidence was too strong. They proposed a suspect they called Planet 9. To build a profile, they turned to computer simulations. They created a digital model of the outer solar system, complete with their 6 clustered TNOs. Then, they started adding a perturber, a hypothetical planet, and ran the simulation forward for billions of years. They asked the computer what kind of object, with what kind of orbit, would be required to keep these 6 objects clustered just the way we see them. The answer that came back was astonishingly specific. The profile of Planet 9? A super-Earth, or mini Neptune, somewhere between 5 and 10 times the mass of Earth. This makes it the 5th largest planet in our solar system. Orbit? Highly elliptical. Not a circle, but a long, cigar-shaped path. Distance? Unfathomably far. On average, it orbits between 400 and 800 AU from the Sun. For perspective, Neptune is at 30 AU. Voyager 1, the farthest human-made object, is only at 160 AU. Orbital period? 1 year on Planet 9 would take between 10,000 and 20,000 Earth years. This single massive planet, they argued, perfectly explained the clustering. Its immense gravity acts like a giant slow-motion shepherd in the dark, nudging these TNOs into alignment over billions of years. But a truly great theory doesn't just solve the one mystery it was designed for. It solves other mysteries you didn't even know were related. And the Planet 9 hypothesis did just that. Mystery number 1. The perpendicular TNOs. Astronomers had long been puzzled by a group of objects that orbit perpendicularly. They travel up and down at a 90-degree angle to the rest of the solar system. This shouldn't happen. Batygin's simulations showed that Planet 9, in its strange, tilted orbit, would be a TNO flinging machine. It would grab objects and throw them into these bizarre perpendicular paths. The Planet 9 model predicted these objects should exist. And they do. Mystery number 2. The Sun's weird tilt. Our Sun is tilted. The plane of the planets, the ecliptic, is tilted by about 6 degrees relative to the Sun's equator. Why? The entire solar system is wobbling. For decades, the assumption was that a passing star might have done it in the distant past. Batygin and Brown simulations showed something incredible. A 10 Earth mass planet, orbiting on a tilted path 600 AU out, would exert just enough gravitational torque over 4.5 billion years to pull the entire solar system and create the 6-degree tilt we observe. The suspect's profile was a perfect match. It didn't just explain the crime, it explained 2 other cold cases. The case for Planet 9 seemed overwhelming. But in science, A detective story is never that simple. A good theory isn't just proposed, it must survive an interrogation. And the critics came out in force. This is where the real scientific battle begins. Argument 1, the streetlight effect, or observational bias. This was the biggest, most powerful criticism. Skeptics, led by astronomers like Michelle Bannister and the team from the Outer Solar System Origin Survey, or OSOS, leveled a major accusation. They argued, you didn't find a cluster, you found a bias. It's called the streetlight effect. If you lose your keys on a dark street, where do you look? Under the only streetlight. That doesn't mean your keys are actually under the light. It just means that's the only place you can look. The skeptics argued that the Kuiper Belt is vast and dark. We can only hunt for TNOs in small patches of the sky at certain times of the year when the weather is good at specific observatories. They claimed that the 6 objects Brown and Batygin found only looked clustered because they were all found in these streetlight patches. They said you found them in the same place because that's where you were looking. This is a devastating criticism. It implies the 1 in 14,000 odds are meaningless. It suggests the crime scene itself is an illusion. The debate became fierce. The Batygin-Brown team countered, arguing that while bias is real, their analysis accounted for it. They argued that the specific clustering of their perihelions, the pointy part of their orbits, could not be explained by bias alone. Then came the OSOS survey. This new large-scale survey was specifically designed to avoid the biases of previous searches. It scanned the sky in a different, more uniform way. And it found no clustering. It found 9 new extreme TNOs, and their orbits were all over the place. This was a major blow to Planet 9. The headlines in 2017 were brutal. Many in the astronomical community considered the Planet 9 hypothesis dead. The suspect, it seemed, had an alibi. But Batygin and Brown, like all good detectives, went back to the evidence. They looked at the new data from OSOS, and they found something the OSOS team itself had missed. They argued that the OSOS survey, while excellent, wasn't sensitive enough to find objects at the farthest part of their orbits where Planet 9's influence would be strongest. When they combined the new OSOS data with the old data and recalculated the statistics, they claimed the clustering was still there. The statistical significance was slightly weaker, maybe 1 in 500 instead of 1 in 14,000, but it was not 0. The debate rages to this day. It is a complex, high-stakes statistical battle fought in the pages of academic journals. It is the very picture of how science is supposed to work. It's an argument over evidence. But as the debate over the evidence raged, other scientists began to propose alternative suspects. What if the footprints are real, but the suspect isn't a planet? Suspect A, the primordial black hole. This is the most exotic and thrilling alternative. What if Planet 9 is not a planet at all, but a tiny, ancient black hole left over from the Big Bang? A primordial black hole, or PBH, with a mass of 5 to 10 Earths would be no larger than a grapefruit. This suspect profile is tantalizing. It would exert the exact same gravity as Planet 9, meaning it would create the exact same clustering and solve the exact same mysteries. It would also explain why we can't find it. A grapefruit-sized object, completely black, 60 billion miles away? It's perfectly hidden. If this were true, it would be a discovery on a scale that dwarfs Planet 9. It wouldn't just be a new piece of our solar system, it would be the first ever detection of a PBH, and a prime candidate for the elusive dark matter that holds the entire galaxy together. How to find it? You can't, but you can look for its effects. Some have proposed looking for faint radio signals from matter falling into it, or even tiny flashes called annihilation flares if it passes in front of a distant star. So far, nothing. Suspect B, the gang theory. What if the shepherd isn't one big object, but many small ones? This theory proposes that there isn't one Planet 9, but a massive, undiscovered disk of smaller objects, dwarf planets, asteroids, and ice. Individually, they are weak, but collectively, perhaps with a total mass of 10 Earths, their combined self-gravity could be enough to nudge the TNOs into the observed alignment. This is a plausible theory. It's less elegant than a single planet, but it's possible. It would be a second, more massive Kuiper Belt. The main problem is that simulations have struggled to get this collective gravity to work as neatly as the gravity from a single point source, like a planet. The case remains open. The detectives have their original suspect, Planet 9, but they also have two very different, very compelling alternate suspects. There is only one way to solve this case. We have to find the culprit red-handed. We have to take a picture. And so the largest manhunt in modern astronomy is underway. But the challenges are almost beyond comprehension. Planet 9, if it's a planet, is unfathomably far away. It is so cold that its own temperature is just 10 to 20 degrees above absolute zero. It shines with no light of its own. It only reflects the faintest light of the sun. Finding it is like trying to find a lump of coal in the dark from 50 billion miles away. The search is being led by Mike Brown, Batygin, and their team using one of the most powerful telescopes on Earth, the Subaru telescope on Mauna Kea in Hawaii. Night after night, they scan the sliver of sky where their simulations predict Planet 9 is most likely to be. This orbital path is huge, so they are scanning it piece by piece. They are looking for a single, impossibly faint dot of light that moves. They take an image of a star field. An hour later, they take another. They compare them. Has one of those tiny dots shifted ever so slightly against the background of fixed stars? It is the most tedious, difficult search imaginable. Other surveys, like the Dark Energy Survey, DES, have joined the hunt, scanning huge portions of the southern sky. They have found hundreds of new TNOs, adding more data to the crime scene. But so far, not the shepherd itself. But the detectives are not without hope, because the cavalry is coming. The Vera C. Rubin Observatory in Chile is set to become operational in late 2025. This isn't just another telescope. It is a monster. It is a survey machine. It will scan the entire southern sky where Planet 9 is predicted to be every few nights. It will create a movie of the universe, cataloging billions of objects. The Vera Rubin Observatory is the ultimate Planet 9 hunter. Its sensitivity and speed are so great that if Planet 9 is real and it is in the southern sky, Vera Rubin will find it. It will not be able to hide. Most astronomers, including Batygin and Brown, believe that if it exists, this telescope will confirm it within the next 5 to 10 years.
While we wait for the manhunt to conclude, one final question haunts the detectives. If Planet 9 is real, where did it come from? How did our suspect get there? There are two competing origin stories. Theory 1, the ejected native. In this story, Planet 9 is one of our own. It's a lost sibling. It formed in the same neighborhood as Jupiter and Saturn. It was likely a gas giant core that was growing, but it got too close to Jupiter. In a game of gravitational billiards, Jupiter kicked it, flinging it into the outer darkness. It's an exiled member of our own family. Theory 2, the captured alien. This is perhaps the more romantic notion. In this story, Planet 9 is an interstellar rogue planet. It was born around another star, but was ejected from that system. It wandered the cold, dark void between the stars for millions or billions of years, an orphan like Oumuamua. Then, by pure chance, it drifted through our own solar system. It passed just close enough and just slowly enough that our sun's gravity captured it. It's not a native, it's an alien, a captured interstellar visitor that became a permanent, if distant, member of our family. Finding Planet 9 wouldn't just tell us about our solar system. It could give us our first chance to study a world from another star, right in our backyard.
The case of Planet 9 is the perfect scientific mystery. The evidence is powerful, but entirely circumstantial. We see the footprints, not the creature. The academic debate is fierce, grounded in statistics and the hard-earned data from mountaintop telescopes. This is not a belief, it is a testable hypothesis, a theory built on mathematics. And the stakes are enormous. This isn't just about adding one more planet to the roster. Finding it would be the biggest discovery since Neptune, which was also found by its ghost, its gravitational pull on Uranus. Finding Planet 9 would change our understanding of our home. It would prove that our solar system is not the tidy, stable place we thought, but a dynamic, strange, and still hiding secrets system. The mystery won't last forever. The clock is ticking. The Vera Rubin Observatory is powering up. The detectives are closing in. Within the next decade, we will almost certainly have a verdict. We will finally know for sure if our solar system has 8 planets or 9. The hunt is on.